people joining. Hello, hello,
Good.
welcome.
Hi,
We
everyone.
we are just having some technical troubles with Laurent who should join us. So just give us a few minutes. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see you here. And Laurent is trying to connect right now. Obviously, in Tanzania is not. We may have to face some technical issues. But Laurent is muted right now. So, Laurent, maybe you keep the video off like we have now, but you should click on the microphone to unmute yourself. It's on the left, inside the bottom left, if you hear us.
Yeah,
Okay. Looks that you have now a microphone
sound.
on, but we don't hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
now we could hear you.
Yeah.
Great, that's already a good start.
There we
I'm
go.
really sorry for the bad connection. Is
That's
it
okay.
better without the video, yeah?
Yeah, it's much
Yeah,
better.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, people have seen you probably on Diver Show social media. You did a great introduction, so uh, we know how you look.
Maybe at the end of the presentation, we can try again with the video just for a final hello and goodbye. Um, yeah.
Good.
But thank you very much for
Yeah,
taking the time to
definitely.
join
That would be
today.
nice.
And thank you to everyone else who's joining today. Um, Yeah. Laurent is founder of Eco2diving. And we they're also a diver shore partner, and we sponsor them through our EcoBuddies program, where we choose every year different ocean and environmental initiatives to support. Um, Usually initiatives that are running conservation, something like what you do is coral restoration and volunteer initiatives. So Laurent has a really nice presentation to share with us today. I'm not sure,
All
maybe
right.
Laurent, you can try to share it. If not, maybe I can share my screen and you just do the talking, and we see how it goes.
I don't know.
But I look forward to learning a bit about what you guys do and yeah.
Definitely. Does it work? I tried to share it with my great skills on Zoom.
So
Is it
far, so good.
working? Do you see my
Yeah.
Yes,
presentation?
oh,
Yeah?
yes, all good.
Really? Amazing. And you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you good, loud and clear now. Yeah. Ah, just spoke too soon.
Very good. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you. Thank you to invite us to introduce our project on this webinar. I spoke to should I keep going, or is it just a delay, or is it you can still hear me?
I can hear you now. It was a bit cut off
Okay,
for
great.
a moment. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I was starting by thanking everyone to join the webinar and thanking, of course, Diversure for inviting us to present our project. So my name is Lawrence, and I will hopefully be able to present our project today. Discuss. So I'm going to introduce myself and my wife. We are the owners and the head of the project. We're also going to discuss our eco-friendly dive resort, so Eco2diving and 10 degrees south. And we're also going to discuss our coral restoration project, environmental protection. Yeah, so far so good. Good. I keep going. So first, I would like to introduce ourselves. So my name is Laurent. I'm French and I became a diving instructor in 2017. Okay. I've been working in the Caribbean quite a lot for a couple of times. And then we met with my wife, Martha, who was also a diving instructor. We met in the Caribbean. And after working in the Caribbean together, moving to Costa Rica, to Curacao, we decided to become owners of a dive shop in Tanzania. And this is where we settled for now the past 7 years. So we are definitely settled. As you can see, we have a wide family already with 2 dogs. And recently we had a baby.
Laurent, we can't hear you, I'm afraid. It's very broken.
What we would call a dive resort, even though I don't really like.
We just lost Laurent. He's coming back again. Let's see if we have a
I'm
better
back.
connection. Okay. All
There we
right.
go. Okay.
I'm back and I tried something new for the connection, so hopefully that will work better.
Okay.
Sounds a little bit better.
Yeah, it does. Thanks everyone for your patience, and I really hope it works this time, Laurent.
Yeah, me too. Now I don't know how to share stuff anymore. I don't know. Partager this. Good. Good. So I finished introducing ourselves and I was now discussing where we were located. So we are located in the south of Tanzania. So this is the capital, Dar es Salaam. And then in the north of Dar es Salaam, you have Zanzibar, which is a very touristic island. And then in the north, you have all the main attractions being the Serengeti Park, being the Kilimanjaro. And we are located literally on the opposite side. Okay, so in a very southern place. So we're literally 40 kilometers away from the border with Mozambique, which allow us to have a very authentic experience. We have a really rural village. We really belong with the place and we really can have an authentic experience with the Tanzanians here. We have like cows and chicken and goats roaming around in the street. So it's very village oriented. So this is in this nice little place that we own a hotel. Okay, so this is called 10 Degrees South. It's a small hotel. We have like 8 rooms and we are facing the Mikindani Bay, and already in this hotel, we are trying to have some environmental measures going on. So, for example, as you know, when you travel Africa, it's quite rare to have drinkable water from the tap. So we try to provide drinkable water from the fountain for free for our guests, so they don't have to use plastic bottles all the time. We also offer a wide range of vegetarian and vegan food, etc. So we really try already with our hotel to be in a environmental protection mode, kind of. On top of the hotel, we of course own a dive shop. So the dive shop is called Eco2. Again, we are a small dive shop. We have a boat. We have a max capacity of 4 divers at once. Plus instructor, and we have a small team of 3. So we have our 2 captains, Ikram and Shaibu, that are literally from here. When I mean from here, I mean they're living like 600 meters away from the dive shop. And then we have Buruhani that lives probably a kilometer away. And Buruhani is our head diver. So when we met him, he was not able to swim. and we have been training him for the past 3-4 years now. And now he's a proper swimmer and he's a diver and he's going for his rescue. It's planned that we certify him as a rescue diver by the end of June, and then our objective is to make him become a professional diver. So yeah, we have a quite a small team that we're happy to work with, and we try to go with our motto, which is the 3 E's. So exclusive, experience, and environment. So exclusive because where we are definitely in an exclusive layout. We are the only dive shop in the area. The closest one is probably 500 kilometers away. As I said, we are also off the beaten track. We are secluded in the south. So we are really in a place where you are roughly the only one. So that's what I want to show with this kind of beach. Like this is the marine park, and we literally go there most of the time, and there is literally no one there. You have the whole beach for yourself. We also can focus on the experience for our guests because we have a small team. We are more in a friendly dive shop mode more than a factory mode. So we are really taking care of our guests, our divers, and we know their equipment, we know their capabilities, we know their certifications, and we can constantly adapt to their needs and what they want and what they like to see. And we also, of course, have a strong environmental orientation with our core restoration program, of course, but also with our daily work in terms of diving. We, for example, never anchor. We, of course, do not use single-use plastic. We have a no touching policy underwater to avoid breaking anything. So we already have some kind of environmental measures going on with the dive shop itself, even without the core restoration project. In terms of diving, well, the good thing with being super away from mass tourism and off the beaten tracks is that we have quite a great diving. So it goes from macro animals. So we have seahorses. Just yesterday, we went for one dive, and in an hour, we've been able to spot 6 different seahorses, and one of them was pregnant, by the way, so that was really cool. But yeah, we have like seahorses. We also have the Harlequin pipefish. We have, of course, many different kinds of nudibranchs. We also have the ribbon eels. The ribbon eels that is very famous because first it's beautiful, but also because this is an animal that changes gender all along its life and also color. So at the beginning they are juvenile, they are black, and then they're gonna change and become if I'm correct, they become yellow and become male. And then at the end of their life, they will become blue and female, and then they will pass away. We also have Harlequin shrimps, also, as we can see, very, very nice. We have a paddle flap scorpion fish. So just yesterday on the same dive with the 6 seahorses, we were able to spot 2 paddle flap scorpion fish. So very nice animals too. We have crocodile fish. We have the mantis shrimps, but we also have bigger fish. So we have the humpback migration every year. Roughly from October to November, we have the migration of the humpbacks. We also have resident dolphins. So mostly bottlenose and spinner dolphins. We also have, of course, bigger fish like Napoleon wrasse. We also have pelagic fish like tuna, trevallies coming and visiting us. And we also, of course, have sea turtles, mainly hawksbill and green sea turtles. We had the chance one day to swim with a leatherback, but I have to say it was quite exceptional. We also have great diving in terms of scenery. So we have something close to 100% coral cover on most of our dive sites. Of course, we do a coral restoration project, so it's not like this everywhere, but our dive sites are extremely good, and yeah, we have we reach most of the time 100% coral cover. We also have very fishy dives. Like if you feel like you're in an aquarium most of the time, that's normal for us to be surrounded with fish. And also because of the layout and scenery under the water in the bay, we have those big walls and big bomies that can be like the size of a big building, like probably 20 meters diameter and from 10 meters high to maybe 50 meters high. And we have those huge, impressive walls and huge, impressive bomies. We have a dive site where we go diving there. It's a little bit like Superman flying in Manhattan, you know, so you are swimming in the middle of those big, giant pinnacles that are covered with coral. So that's quite impressive. And then you look up and at the top of it, you have like those extremely fishy area. So it's quite a nice diving. It's worth being secluded, should I say. And finally, we have access to the marine park, which is an amazing place. So you already seen the other side of that picture. So that's the beautiful beach. So white sand beach with coconut trees, and of course a very very amazing resident reef with clear water, turtles, and many fish. And again, a coral cover that's like very good. The last time we had a guest coming here, he compared it to Raja Ampat. So that is to say how good it is. When it comes to diving, we also, of course, have to pay attention with safety. So as we said, we are very, very far from the main places and the main developed places. And the yellow star shows the first decompression chamber. So of course, when it comes to safety, we, for example, highly recommend to use dive insurance because, of course, we are far away. The first decompression chamber is like 10 hours drive away plus a 3 hours ferry. It's in Zanzibar. So you want to make sure you're taken care of properly. Otherwise, also, you can end up in the local hospitals, but of course, it's more like a local medical care than the developed medical care that we are used to. So again, like dive insurance is, of course, quite recommended. Anyway, of course, we always make sure we have safety measures in place to ensure that any accident never happens, of course. Now I'm happy to move forward with our project. So I'm happy to call it a holistic approach to our project because, of course, we plant coral restoration, but that's not the only objective. We are in a mindset of protecting the environment, and we use coral restoration as a mean to reach our goals. But also to reach our goals, we need to include more activities than just coral restoration. I mean, just coral restoration, that's already big, but there's more to it, shall I say. So before we talk about the project itself, I would like to remind you a few things so we understand the whole concept of coral restoration. So coral reef restoration is the process of assisting recovery of an ecosystem that has been degraded, damaged, or destroyed. Okay, and to do so, there is two ways that are usually used. There is what we would call the passive way and the active way. So the active way, for example, would be to go on the coral reefs and plant corals after corals after corals after corals. Okay, so that would be the active way. We are active on the field. Then the passive way would be more working a bit in the background to ensure that the coral reefs are taken care of properly. For example, if you have a coral reef that is amazing and you are planting corals on it, that's great. But if you have, for example, a sewage arriving on that coral reef, then of course it's going to bring so much pollution that you will be able to plant 10,000 corals a day. All your corals are going to die. So you have that passive way where you're going to work on removing the main threats. And like this, you're going to be able to go for the active way and really push the regeneration of the coral reef. Okay. Of course, when we do a project, both ways are necessary to ensure we tackle as much as threats as we can. Why would we do coral reef restoration? So this is a question that comes up from time to time, and it's important to understand what we're talking about. So since the 1950s, 50% of the coral reefs have been destroyed in the world, okay? And regarding the 50% that are left, 3/4 of them are already threatened with extinction, okay? The scientists are estimating that by 2050, there will be no more coral reefs on Earth. Also, nowadays with climate change, we have those bleaching events that happen, unfortunately, more and more, and shall I say, stronger and stronger every year. And a bleaching event can kill up to 40% of a coral reef. So again, scientists estimate that by 2050, there should be no more coral reefs on Earth. On the other side, for the positive side, shall I say, of the scale, of the coral reefs. We have a success rate of sexual reproduction that is inferior to 20%. And we have a growth through asexual reproduction that is an average of 5 centimeters per year. Okay, so corals, different species of corals grow at different pace. The slowest corals will grow roughly 5 millimeters per year, and the fastest would go up to 25 centimeters per year. Okay, so this is still very small compared to all the threats that are hanging in the balance, okay, in the scale. So when we do coral reef restoration, we have a success rate that is usually around 60, 70%, even in some places 90, 95%. And on the other side, by doing coral reef restoration, we also can raise awareness and try to reduce the main threats, such as climate change and fishing and etc. Okay, so this is why we are pushing for this kind of initiatives. When it comes to coral reef restoration, now I'm happy to introduce you to some of the activities that we are doing through our project. So the first one is to maintain nurseries. So in our case, we create nurseries through plastic pipes, okay? And then we're going to install ropes. And as you can see, we're going to transport that underwater. And then we are going to attach our coral through the rope. So you can see on the pictures on the left, we have that nursery that is ready. And once it's like this, these corals are going to be able to grow properly. And we usually try to place the nursery in the best place we can in terms of conditions. So with no pollution, of course, with no fishing, no etc., etc. So to really protect this area, it's a little bit of a cocoon where the corals will be able to thrive. Before that, so this is what it looks like when we plant a coral. We usually have a rope and we're going to put the coral through it, okay? And then we're going to leave it. It depends on the project, depends on what you're trying to do at this moment in your project, but corals can stay in from to 6
Laurent, we can't hear you. The connection seems to have gone.
to even up to a year. Okay. And then over this year, you're going to have to, because in the water, you're going to have, hello, can you hear me back?
Welcome back. We can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
perfect.
you.
Thank you. Sorry. So as I was saying, we are having nurseries, okay, where we create basically the best environment possible to grow corals. And during this year that we are going to care for because algae are going to grow over the nursery to compete with the corals and sometimes even kill the corals. So we're going to have to, on a regular basis, check the nursery, clean it, and also make sure that no corals get sick, etc. And this is what you can have after a long amount of time, like this is more like 6 months to a year. So of course, it's not the same piece of coral, but this is to show you the difference. So on the right side, we can see that the coral is inside the rope. And on the left side, we can see at the level of the rope that the coral has grown over the rope and it really made the rope part of its body. Okay. And this is a very good sign that the coral is thriving. And this coral, for example, on the picture is ready to be removed and to be planted on the reef. When we don't have nurseries, we also can go and collect corals of opportunity in the ocean. So this is what we're doing on these pictures. So on the left, we're just basically swimming and checking the ground, the bottom of the ocean, to check for corals of opportunity. On the middle picture, we can see corals of opportunity. What we call corals of opportunity are pieces of corals, fragments of corals that are already broken and that are available to be taken and planted. When we do coral restoration, we never want to break an existing coral The existing coral has taken so much time to grow and it's thriving, so there's no reason that we go and break it intentionally. Okay. However, during its normal life, corals would break because maybe there's a big fish chasing a small fish and the small fish got protection in the coral. So the big fish bumped into the coral and broke a bit. Maybe because there's a big current that day and it's going to break a piece of coral. Maybe there was a diver that made a mistake and kicked a piece of coral and broke the coral. Anyway, there's many reasons that can happen. And coral can be broken. It's part of their normal life. And in that case, when they are broken like this, their chance of survival is very low. So when we collect them, we give them a better chance to survive and to be able to recreate a colony. So here we correct those corals of opportunity, and we can see that a very happy diver on the right that has collected big pieces of corals ready to be planted. When we go planting, it's actually not that simple. There are a few steps to do first. So in our case, there's many different techniques in the world to plant corals. And all of these techniques need to be adapted, of course, to the context. Because in every places in the world, we don't have access to the same tools, to the same means. The ocean is different, the configuration on the water is different, etc., etc. So of course, there's many techniques, as many as coral reef restoration projects in the world. In our case, we usually plant corals on rocks. So we're going to find a big rock, like we can see on the picture. And once we have this, we're going to have to clean it. We're going to clean it either with a brush, maybe a sandpaper even, but we need to make it super clean, like we can see here. We need to make it super clean to remove all the algae and everything that would compete with the coral. We need to literally have bare rock so that when we plant the coral will have all the chances to grow and become strong before it's being attacked. I mean, attacked is not the word, but before it's competing with other organisms on the water. Once the rock is completely clean and ready, we're going to plant nails. So in our case, we use nails to plant corals. So we're going to hammer nails in the rock. And this is what it's going to look like at the end. We have that rock. So we have that rock and we can see here, all the nails that have been planted and that are that will be welcoming corals. I went rogue with this up. Sorry. Voilà. So now we have those 3 divers that are planting corals. So the nails are ready on the rock and they're going to attach those corals to the nails with zip ties. Okay. So we can see, and this is what we can expect over time. So here, this is some corals that have been planted in November 2024. And then in 2025, we've been able to find them again. And we can see, as I was saying earlier in the nursery, we can see here, for example, that the coral has been properly growing over the zip ties. So we can really see the nails, the zip tie, the black zip tie, and then being covered by the coral. So the coral really grew over the structures. Another technique that I haven't mentioned yet is sometimes we use what we call epoxy. Epoxy, we can see it on the right picture here. So this is the gray patch. So epoxy, it's kind of a paste, and we're going to use it to plant the coral directly on the rock. And in that case, of course, we don't need to use no need to use nails. Again, on these pictures, we can see how lucky we were. These corals were literally thriving like crazy, and they really grew over just a year. Other ways of planting corals is, for example, with metal structures. So in our case, we had metal structures made of rebar, and we were able to then attach the corals to it. And again, we can see on the left side the corals that have been planted at the beginning, and a little bit of a close-up. I'm really sorry, I don't have pictures of the the structures nowadays, so I can show you how it is now. But yeah, like this was another way to plant corals. Through our project, we also run surveys and participate in citizen science projects. So in our case here, we were doing surveys underwater with transects, and we were surveying the coral cover. So we can see on the right side, we have that diver with the camera taking picture on a regular interval. And then these pictures are put in a software that is going to analyze the coral cover. And we did that like over 2, 3, 4 years to have different results and see how the coral cover is doing. We also participate in another project that is called Map the Giants. The aim of this organization is to inventory all the giant corals in the world. So that's quite a big job, huh? They need some help for sure. And this is what we can see with those divers. So we have like literally a diver staying on one side and the other one that is going to unfold the transect to be able to measure the coral. The biggest coral that we have here so far measures 98 meters long and 45 meters wide. Okay, so that's quite a big one. But we can see already on the right picture, this is the kind of coral I'm talking to you. It's like huge. Something else that we do with our project is reef maintenance. So we have definitely many problems on the water that we need to protect our reefs from. So if we go from the left, we're going to have the Drupella snails, so the ones that are circled in yellow on the top left picture. And to remove them, unfortunately, there's no really any ways to remove them. So we have to go, maybe we see on the bottom left, with tweezers. We literally go with tweezers in between the coral so that we can remove those Drupella. We also have many threats with with the algae that are growing like crazy at the moment. We've lost a few dive sites in the past year already because it's just growing over coral, and then it's smothering the coral and killing it. And of course, pollution. When I mean pollution, I mean garbage and waste. We organize also underwater cleanups to remove all the garbage and the waste that end up in the ocean. When it comes to coral restoration, we of course have to be careful when it's diving because it can be challenging for new divers and experienced ones because you are focusing on something. You are not just diving, you are focusing on a job, and you tend to easily drift out and forget about your buoyancy, or even not pay attention and start maybe touching a potential dangerous animal like sea urchins, or even just forget about checking your air. So we have to be constantly aware of that and constantly making sure that we are paying attention to all those safety checks. Of course, we do everything for that because the best accident, as we know, is the one that never happens. But also, in case anything happens, we are always prepared because, as I was mentioning before, we always push to get dive insurance in case anything bad would happen. We also run activities out of the water. So I was mentioning underwater cleanup. So we also do beach cleanups. So it's the typical ones. We gather people and we go on the beach with big bags and fill them and collect the garbage. We also run education classes with different people. We also do it in schools. We also do it with adults. Okay. We also do it, of course, with our staff. So that's the bottom left picture. And also with the school kids, we have been able to run some swimming classes. So the point of all this education is very important because, as I was saying, we are very active underwater. You remember the active way, but the passive way is also very, very important. And I'm thinking, for example, about the beach cleanup and the education about waste management. Well, the more we can do, the less we will have to do underwater cleanups. So this is also very important to be present on land to educate the people about the common threats to the environment so that we can, in the end, be really focused on the water to what we need to do, which is replant corals more than protecting it from other actions that could be stopped at the source, like garbage and waste. We also support alternative livelihoods. So in our case, it's going to be seaweed farming. Sorry, I want to be quick. So yeah, so on the right here, we can see the seaweeds. So this is literally 2 sticks that are planted in the sand with a rope in between, and there is a seaweed attached to the rope and growing like this underwater. So this is what it looks like when we collect it from underwater. And then we have basically that big stack of seaweed that we then need to clean, sort, and then pack so that it can be dried and then sold as a product. So we also have our program is also supporting this kind of livelihood because, of course, it's an alternative livelihood that is extremely respectful of the environment. How do we finance our project? So first, our project is self-funded, meaning we don't have any grant supporting us. We are funding our project through the volunteers. So we are welcoming volunteers. They are our primary source of funding. And they come and participate to our project physically and financially. So everyone is welcome from 16 years old. It's kind of mandatory to speak English. As you might have understood with my accent, I'm French, so I can speak French, but it's easier to mix with the other volunteers if you can speak English. The specificities of our program is that we accept everyone. Part of our volunteering project is to also teach people scuba diving. So the non-divers are offered the first level of scuba diving, the open water course, while the certified divers are just offered another diving course. So sometimes the advanced, sometimes a specialty, sometimes even a coral restoration dedicated course. So it depends. We have a minimum of 2 weeks, of course, because if you want to have time to even teach non-divers, we need a bit more time. So we need a minimum of 2 weeks for our volunteers to stay, and they can stay up to 3 months or even longer. And during their stay, every week, they're going to have 3 days of diving, where we're going to do underwater activities. We're going to do 2 days of land activities. So I was saying about education, about seaweed farming, etc. And also they're going to be, of course, off on the weekends and Saturday, Sunday, sorry. So they can visit the area and discover the authenticity of Tanzania. And during their stay, we provide them with accommodation, of course, and half board. So they don't have to struggle too much with cooking, etc. And it remains like vacations for them and they can enjoy themselves. Another way that we finance our project is, of course, our guest divers. So we are a company. So our company is strongly supporting our reef restoration project. Also, of course, when we're a bit short and we don't make that much business with our company, our dive shop, we use our personal savings. We also started an initiative that we call Adopt a Coral. So people online would adopt a coral and we would go and plant a coral for them and they would get that coral adoption certificate to confirm that they have been, the coral have been planted. And then every 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year, they would get newsletters on a regular basis to be kept informed of what's happening with the project, but also with their coral that they planted, that they supported. And finally, of course, we have external sponsors like Diversure, and thanks again, Diversure, for supporting us. These external sponsors are very important for us because they help us to maintain the activity all year long. Of course, you can imagine that we don't have volunteers all the time during the year. We have some months where we have some months without volunteers, and external sponsors are very important for us to keep the momentum even when we don't have volunteers. So thanks a lot again to Diversure for supporting us. If you guys want to go further regarding this topic and more generally about marine conservation and the marine environment, I would definitely recommend 4 documentaries that you can probably find on a big streaming platform called Netflix. Chasing Corals, about the bleaching events with corals, A Plastic Ocean, of course, with the plastic pollution, Seaspiracy, to know a lot and learn a lot about the reality behind fishing. And finally, Puff, The Wonders of the Reef, which is just an amazing documentary. There's no polemic, nothing in it. It's just beautiful footage of underwater and a lot of interesting information. You can also, of course, participate in conservation projects, coral projects, mangroves projects, sea turtle project, everything that goes for the protection of environment. It's always good. And also, if you have, of course, any question, feel free to contact us. If you feel like supporting our work, well, You are, of course, welcome to join us on the field and come with us planting coral and trying to do some education around through our volunteering program. So feel free to contact us for it. You can also just come as divers. As I said, we have, I think, quite a good dive. I mean, quite a good diving here. It's always difficult to say as the owner of the place, but yeah, we have quite a good diving here. So you will definitely enjoy it, and you are more than welcome to join. You can contact us to adopt a coral or even make a donation. We have the email address here. And of course, very easy and always helpful. Follow us online on Instagram. So we have 3 accounts for all our projects and our dive shops. So Eco2diving, Corals of Mikindani, and Sea Turtles of Mikindani. And finally on Facebook, Eco2Mikindani. Voilà. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you learn a bit more about coral restoration and diving in the south of Tanzania. And again, I am really sorry for this bad connection. I said we are secluded in the south. I'm really sorry with that.
Oh, thank you very much, Laurent. Yeah, you did mention to me when I asked you if
Yeah.
you would be happy to join that the connection might be an issue, but it all worked out in the end. So well done, and thank
Oh,
you
that's
for a
good.
really interesting presentation. While we're still here, if anyone has any questions about what Laurent was just talking about, please feel free to write in the Q&A section or in the chat. And yeah, I just think it's really amazing how you're not just a diving center, you're getting the community involved, you're not just focusing on tourism or earning money, but really making a difference in your environment and obviously the coral reefs around you. So that's very impressive.
Well, to be honest, I mean, it's a weird thing to say, but I want to thank COVID, because
Yeah,
actually we all started this in, during COVID time. And you know how it was during COVID time. We were not expecting it. And suddenly everything went tits up and it was like everything to a stall. And of course, like many people in the world, we were quite depressed about what was happening. And, this is the
yeah,
moment we were looking at each other with my wife and saying, we need to find the reason we want to wake up in the morning. And that's
yeah.
how it all started, all that coral restoration and growing with the environment protection. And we were like, yeah, so this will make us up in the way. This will make
Yeah,
us wake up in the morning and motivate us to move forward and to get those things done. So definitely this is
it's an amazing combination, and it really gives you a purpose in life. I think it's fantastic. And
definitely
then
we
and I
are.
can imagine how COVID would have pushed you to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, we're clearly driven. Definitely. That's something that really pushes us to move forward, and there's a lot of work to do. So
Yeah,
we're
I can
not
imagine.
we're not
I
close to
hope
the
I
end,
can come and
sure.
visit one day. It sounds
Well, anytime
really
you're more
great.
than welcome.
I have a few questions actually that we received coming up to the leading up to the webinar.
Hmm.
Actually, before I moved on to these questions, I just wanted to ask, because you mentioned a few times your location, but
Yeah.
how would divers who want to visit you actually get to you? Where do they
Alors,
fly into?
to come
Yeah,
to us, people would have to fly to the capital, Dar es Salaam. So this is an international airport that you can reach it from anywhere basically in the world. And then from the capital, Dar es Salaam, you would then fly to us. It's an hour flight to the south, and we have the airport like 20 minutes away. So it's just a quick hop. An hour flight, and you can reach us. To give you an idea, we have some guests coming sometime from Dar es Salaam, and there is a flight at 6 a.m. in the morning. They arrive here at 7. At 8 a.m. they're on the boat. 8:30 they are on the water. So that's the kind of things that we can do here that are quite nice.
okay. That's amazing. It doesn't sound, because obviously you're sort of in the middle of nowhere, but it actually sounds quite simple to get to you. Whereas, some places you compared to Raja Ampat, they can be a little bit more
Yeah.
complex to reach. So it's great. It's good.
Definitely. No, we are very lucky with the airport, like 20 minutes away.
Yeah, nice. I have one question. I guess maybe this is a little bit answered already with your with mentioning COVID, but I'm not sure. It might still be interesting. So,
Mhm.
was there a specific moment or experience that made you realize that you wanted to dedicate your work to coral restoration in Tanzania? I think maybe more what brought you to Tanzania, and how did you end up there?
I don't know, regarding the project, definitely COVID was the step, meaning we
Yeah.
had already that driving and that drive, sorry, we had already that will to do something bigger than us for the environment, but we never had that click,
Yeah.
that step that would push us. And COVID was really like, okay, there's nothing else to do. Let's just do what we feel like we want to do. So that's how it started. Regarding Tanzania, well, funnily, we didn't choose Tanzania in particular. We were looking to become owners and we were open to go in many different places. I remember, for example, there was a very nice dive shop in Iceland. And then we were like, we want to wake up in the morning to go diving in a 5-degree water. And we were like, maybe not every day. So yeah, in the end, we kind of refocused on some criteria we had. And we ended in Tanzania because the project that was the dive shop that was here with the hotel, restaurant, and everything around was kind of fitting our criteria. And when we came here for the first time, we kind of fell in love, and we really enjoyed the place and the atmosphere. The atmosphere is really amazing here. So yeah, this is how we ended there, and not knowing at the beginning that yeah we could do so much more there already. So that was I think a good choice, even not having all the full view. It was definitely a good choice to come here.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a good choice, not just because of the water temperatures.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
but I
There
do
was
agree
more.
with
There
you
was more.
there. Yeah. So one of our members said social media often only shows the success stories. Have there been any coral restoration attempts or projects that didn't go as planned? And what did those setbacks teach you?
Alors, regarding our project, we had many steps back, of course. We had to go through a lot of trial and errors. Well, for example, we completely evolved on the way we deal with nurseries now because initially we are located in front of a small bay, and then there's a bigger bay, and the small bay is really shallow, so max depth is like 15 meters, and there's not a lot of current, etc. And what we didn't know is that through the year, it can go up to 34 degrees Celsius. The water can go up to 34 degrees Celsius. So initially, we started the project doing nurseries in the small bay. But very quickly, we understood that bleaching was literally coming every year. It was not just an exception one. So we had to move forward with the nurseries and put them in other places in the big bay. So yeah, we've learned a lot with the context, the area. We've learned about how it goes with the water temperature, the current, etc. We also had bad experience with metal structures. So I was showing that we were planting on metal structures. So not the one I showed you, but another structure we had created. So it cost us quite a bit of money. We put it in the water, and it was right before the rainy season, so the moment where the water temperature would spike up. So we put all our year work of corals on this structure. We left it for a month, and the month after we came, and it had disappeared. So we don't know if it was a storm that pushed it away, or if it was fishermen that basically picked it up to collect the metal and sell it as scrap metal. But yeah, we've lost the whole year work in like a month. So that was quite traumatic. So yeah, we have like, definitely we had a few steps back like this. But that's how we evolved, and that's why we now are planting on big rocks. That's why we try to, we have a new technique at the moment that maybe will make it also way easier for us, and still using a little bit of metal, but not enough to maybe push someone to steal it to sell it back. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, we are really working as it goes, and we learn every day. We learn every day, so we adapt.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like you've got really through a lot of like you say, trial and error and experience, come up with something great there. I mean, I've through working as a diving instructor around the world, I've seen lots of different coral restoration. I don't want to even call them programs, maybe attempts.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a lot of them, you know, they're not successful because, as you said, I mean, we had a similar one at one of the dive centers I worked at. It was a coral nursery in the lagoon, and of course, it struggled with bleaching, with sediment because of all the sand that got pushed up. and yeah, it just wasn't the right location. So I think location can play a big factor.
Location is critical, definitely.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I have one last question. So this one's about impact. Looking back at everything that you at Eco2diving have achieved so far, what would you say has been your biggest success or proudest moment, whether environmentally or within the community? Yeah.
That's a great question. Well, there's many achievements that we are really happy with. It's gonna sound a bit cliche, but I have to say doing the classes with the school kids is always very, very rewarding. The most impacting, I think, is, for example, when we do the swimming lessons. So we do it with small groups and we have like 6 to 10 school kids with us. And yeah, literally you start on day one and these guys are like playing in like 20 centimeters of water because they don't want to go further because they're afraid of it. And by the end of so we do cycles of 4 to 5 lessons. And by the end, they go in the deep, they go and swim, they can move from point A to point B. So we're not creating Michael Phelps, huh? That's not what I'm saying, but
No.
well, they can at least move safely in the water and go from point A to point B. And yeah, and you see that evolution, and this is very, very rewarding. So this is really cool, definitely. And then no, I would say otherwise the best rewarding moment is like every time we are able to go and check on the corals and we see that it has been growing and we can see the progress, and that's always like very, very good and very makes us very happy moment, gives us very happy moments, of course.
Yeah, I can imagine it must be nice to see that something that you planted that was just, like 4 or 5 centimeters has grown and turned into
exactly. Well, you saw the pictures, sometimes like double or triple over time, and you're like, that's crazy. So no, it's very rewarding, definitely.
Very nice. Okay, I see we haven't got any questions come in from our audience. So I'm going to thank you again, Laurent, for joining. Thank you, JC. And yeah, we will be
thanks to you all.
Posting
Thank you. It was
the
super interesting.
replay in the community, and we will also add the link to your website for anyone who's interested in doing a bit more research, maybe booking to stay with you or becoming a volunteer. So yeah,
anytime they can contact us. Thanks a lot for inviting us and for
Thank
allowing us
you.
to introduce our program, and also, of course, thank you again for your support, Diver Show.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone for joining
Bye.
today. You guys have a
Bye.
great day. Thank you,
You
everyone.
too. Bye.